You're listening to The World Cafe. I'm Talia Schlanger, and I hope you packed the bean dip and the brew because we are going to a shindig with my guest, Andy Shauf. Mind you, it's not a wild, rip-roaring kind of affair. It's a moody and melancholy and really sometimes awkward party. Picture Randy Newman playing Twister with Elliott Smith. Andy Shauf's latest record is a concept album called The Party. It's a really beautiful collection of songs that sketch scenes of a house party in a small town. The album earned Andy a spot on the shortlist for Canada's prestigious Polaris Music Prize. We'll talk about Andy Shauf's roots in a small town in the Canadian prairies and how the seemingly shy guy songwriter transforms after a couple of cocktails. But right now, it is party time. The first party guest you're going to meet is named Alexander. He is smoking a cigarette, but he swears he's quitting and has just bought his last pack of smokes. Well, the last part turns out to be true. Alexander ends up collapsing and dying at the party. Whew, here is Andy Shauf performing his song, Alexander All Alone, live at the World Cafe.
Alexander all alone, smoking a cigarette. The last pack he'd ever buy, at least that's what he said. Stood up to stretch his back and fell down to the ground. Alexander all alone till the neighbor caught a glimpse. Cried out for his wife to call the ambulance. Alexander all alone felt them check his pulse. He heard them pronounce him dead. Alexander wondered when the light flashed before his eyes, where his soul did not depart away, found no peace of mind. Would it take a little while? Was it the same for everyone? Alexander realized that held his friend inside of me, and nothing else will set me free. Held his friend inside of me, and opened me up and spun me
You're listening to The World Cafe. That is Andy Shauf with a beautiful performance of Alexander All Alone off his 2016 record, The Party. He's my guest here on The World Cafe. Andy, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Pleasure. So in that song that you just played, Alexander swears he's smoking his last cigarette and then he keels over and dies. This is some fun party that we're at together.
It's a good time.
Woohoo! But the theme of loneliness and being by your lonesome definitely permeates the record, and I guess it's sort of where the record started too. You essentially are a one-man band when you're in the studio. Why play all of the instruments yourself as you did on the party?
It's just kind of how I have to do it. Like, I'm not the most proficient musician. I don't really know what I'm doing, so it's a lot of trial and error and sitting down with one instrument and playing things that don't work for hours until finally something does work.
Yeah.
But that's just how I find ideas, is through just trying stuff. And so if I have other people, it's a little bit harder to do that. They just kind of expect you to be able to tell them what to play.
How do you take all of that that solo spirit? Like if you're a real lone wolf when you're working on it, how do you take all of that and then translate it into a full band for touring?
Well, the people that I play with are really good. You know, I really trust them. So they kind of interpret the parts as they want to. But yeah, I mean, it's not, my albums are really specific. Everything that I put on them is really, this needs to be here, this needs to be here. And they're all narratives, so there's a start and an end, and it has to move along at a certain pace. So it's kind of the easiest way is to just, you know, do it like it is.
I'm going to come back and talk about some of the narrative and the craft, but first let's hear another song. Let's hear To You, if you would.
feels like that to you. That it never feels like that to you. I guess it never feels like that to you. I guess it never feels like that to you.
All right, that is Andy Shauf with a beautiful performance of To You off the record, The Party. I love that you're an unreliable narrator over the course of this record. Like you take on all of these sort of different personas. What sort of freedom do you get in songwriting when you're writing from points of view of the different characters that we hear about in The Party?
Not that much happens in my life, you know. I just kind of tour and play. With writing fictional songs, you can pretty much do anything. Not that I've really explored that far, but, you know, you could have sci-fi songs or...
Yeah, for sure. Was there somebody who inspired that approach to songwriting for you?
Yeah, Randy Newman. A lot of his songs are like inconsistent narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a common reference that you hear young songwriters drop, Randy Newman.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
He's the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you identify with one song or one character on the record most strongly?
No, not really.
No?
I mean, it's been such a long time since I wrote these songs. In the moment, there were a lot. Like, To You was one that was really close to my emotions, I guess. It was like I felt really connected to that one. But now, you know, I've played that song a million times, and it loses its grasp on you.
Oh, yeah. But in the beginning, what was it? I guess To You is somebody professing their love and then uncomfortably sort of taking it away or coming back from that?
Yeah, just getting laughed at, and then he just kind of tries to make it seem like he was whatever, not being serious.
I guess too, sometimes like I always think about this when artists write songs that are so deeply personal to them. If you weren't writing a narrative record, if you were writing personal confessional songs, then you have to play them for a year, and it's like those emotions are tired out. But I guess maybe this is sort of a different scenario because these are stories that you've invented or that you've created, and then maybe you can grow with them in a different way than you could if you were singing directly about something that had just happened to you.
Yeah, I think, you know, with these story songs, sometimes when we're playing, I'll actually listen to what I'm singing instead of just going autopilot, and it's like, oh yeah, I like this one. But a lot of like the personal songs that I've written, I just can't even play them anymore because it's so far from who I am now. You know, it's like they become fiction and then you feel like you're just lying or something.
Oh, wow. So would you actively avoid playing something that you felt like that about?
Oh, yeah. Anything off of like my first record, I can't do it anymore.
Really? This is not The Bearer of Bad News. This is
no,
before
it's
that.
called Darker Days.
Darker
and
Days.
I would recommend nobody looks that up.
You shouldn't drop the name of a record, Andy, if you don't want us to go look it up.
Edit that out of there.
Oh, that's super interesting. Do you look back like with regret about having written those songs, or do you just feel like, okay, I'd like those to live, you know, in the past and not bring them back up again?
Yeah, they're just, I don't know. I mean, I wrote that album when I was like 20 years old, and I just didn't have a good grasp on being a human at that point in my life. So
do you feel like you have a better grasp at being a human now?
A little bit.
Yeah?
I'm getting there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm getting.
What's coming along?
I am not sure. Yeah.
Fair enough. What do you like at a party?
You know, sometimes I'm the loud guy.
Yeah?
That might be surprising, but yeah.
It is surprising. What does it take to get you there?
Drinking.
What's your idea of a really good time?
Just hanging with friends, having some beers.
Yeah.
Maybe playing darts.
turn it into the loud guy. Does it all spill out when you're the loud guy? Because you're very, very lovely and low key in person. And like, are you holding everything in, and then a couple drinks in, and it just all pours out?
Yeah.
Really?
And I just am relaxed guy,
Relax.
not nervous guy.
Oh, really? Do you feel nervous like often?
Yeah, pretty often.
Is it hard? I mean, is it hard to choose a career path where you're gonna have to sit and talk about these deeply personal things and play music in front of people if that's your inclination?
I mean, yeah. I'm not a person who really likes talking about myself, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I respect that you would choose a career path where you know that you have to do that, even if it's something that makes you.
I don't know that I knew that I was going to have to do interviews.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, I just thought I would just play songs. The interviews were a surprise.
Surprise!
Surprise.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear you play another song. Jenny Come Home. I love this one. Yeah, let's hear it.
Maybe one morning I'll awake to your voice, stirring me gently and I'll look in your eyes. I'll tell you all about the dream that I had, where you left in the morning with your keys in your hand. Started your car and drove off into the day. As I slept it away, I was in between jobs and I liked it that way. Some plans for the day. You would meet up for breakfast and maybe try to catch some sail. Jenny, come home to me. You got back home about 3:45, and when you opened the door, you saw a pair of shoes you'd never seen before. You came upstairs and we were scrambling, so she tried to make for the door. Oh, I swear you packed all your things and were gone before she. Jimmy, come home to me. Maybe one morning I'll awake and this will be a dream. Jenny, come home to me.
That's Andy Shauf with Jenny Come Home. What record is that song off of?
That song is not on anything. We just put it out as a single right before the party came out.
Yeah. I love that one. And it makes me think of a quote that I read about you, and I don't know if this is true or not, but that your grandma said that couldn't you just release a song that was like happy that we could dance to, please?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she always wants me to write upbeat songs.
Does she? Grandma wants to boogie?
Yeah. She's like, why can't you just write a couple nice ones?
But does your family, are they okay with hearing that dark stuff? Like, is that hard? We're being tongue-in-cheek about it, but is it hard for them to, hear this sort of, dark, deep folk storytelling from you?
I don't know. I mean, my grandparents and my parents listened to a lot of, really upbeat Southern gospel music. So it's probably just that contrast is like, this isn't the music that they're into.
Yeah. So you grew up in Beanfate, Saskatchewan. Am I saying it right? Beanfate, Saskatchewan?
Yeah. Well, I mostly grew up in Cairnport, Saskatchewan. I lived in Beanfate for like a year, and I was born in Estevan.
Uh-huh. And how small are the places that we're talking about here?
Beanfate is 800 people. Cairnport is like maybe 1,200. It's like it's a college town, so the population doubles when there's school.
Right.
Yeah.
So you grew up in these small places, and your fam's listening to Southern gospel music, and it's upbeat. Was that sort of what your musical upbringing was like?
That music I really didn't like at all. Yeah, I mostly listened to, like, I was into skateboarding and stuff, so there was a lot of pop punk, skateboarding music.
Oh, yeah? And was there a first artist that sort of opened your mind to the darker, more melancholy sound that we know you for?
Yes. I heard Elliott Smith's music because I was really into, like, acoustic emo music. And Elliott Smith was kind of like, whoa, you can do so much better than this other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a Basement on a Hill, was that the one that was that the record that it was for you? Was it EXO?
It was his self-titled one was the first one that I got. And it's just really sparse and really somehow intricate with him just using a guitar and a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear another song. Which one are you going to play for us last?
I will play The Magician.
All right. Here's Andy Shauf off The Party.
Do you find it gets a little easier each time you make it disappear? Oh, fools, the magician bends the rules as the crowd watches his every move. Just a shaking hand without a concrete plan. Side steps to a death-defying feat. Wait for him to reappear. Look close, you'll see him sweat the most each time his options disappear. Just a shaking hand without a concrete plan. Just a shaking hand without a concrete plan. I'm a shaking hand without
as Andy Shauf and his wonderful band with The Magician off the record The Party. Andy, it's a real treat to have you here at the World Cafe.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Lots more coming your way on the World Cafe.